A company that never appears in commercials, never asks for your vote, yet has more influence over your life than almost any government or corporation you know. From the phone in your hand to the job you work to the retirement you dream of, its fingerprints are everywhere. That company is BlackRock. And the story you're about to hear is how it quietly rose from nothing to becoming the most powerful financial force in human history. Let me tell you about a company everyone has heard of, but almost no one truly understands. A company that quietly manages $10 trillion, more money than the entire economy of Japan, Germany, and the UK combined. It's one of the biggest shareholders in Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Google, basically every giant corporation you can name. And here's the part nobody tells you. If you own stocks or have a retirement fund, BlackRock votes your shares, not you. You think you own stock, but legally, you own a beneficial interest in the fund, while BlackRock controls the voting power. This isn't a conspiracy. This is simply how the system works. Today, BlackRock is the most powerful financial institution in human history, controlling ownership, risk, policy, and even the rules of the market. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how BlackRock gained this unprecedented power, and the 5 specific mechanisms it uses to quietly shape the entire global economy. Most people think BlackRock is a bank. It isn't. Banks take your deposits, give loans, and make money from interest. BlackRock does none of that. BlackRock is an asset manager, a company that invests money for other people. Pension funds, insurance companies, governments, universities, and millions of regular people hand their savings to BlackRock, and BlackRock invests it for a small fee. But when you add up those small fees across trillions of dollars, the power becomes enormous. As of 2024, BlackRock manages $10 trillion, a number so large it's bigger than the economies of Japan, Germany, and the UK combined. It's roughly equal to 40% of all the economic activity America produces in a year. Only 2 countries on Earth, the US and China, have a bigger economy than the pile of money BlackRock controls. And BlackRock isn't alone. Vanguard manages $8 trillion, State Street manages $4 trillion, and together these 3 firms control over $22 trillion, nearly the size of the entire U.S. economy. But BlackRock is the most powerful of all because unlike Vanguard, which is owned by its investors, BlackRock is a regular corporation with one mission: maximize profit. This means BlackRock's decisions are not designed to protect you. They're designed to benefit BlackRock. And that difference changes everything. BlackRock wasn't born powerful. In fact, in 1988, it didn't even exist. Its story begins with one man, Larry Fink, a bond trader who made a catastrophic mistake. While working at First Boston, he made a bad bet on mortgage-backed securities and lost the firm $100 million. He was fired, humiliated, and written off. But instead of giving up, Larry Fink walked away with one lesson that would reshape global finance. Risk management is everything. If you can understand risk better than anyone else, you can outperform everyone else. So Fink teamed up with 7 partners and built a company based entirely on risk analysis. They created a powerful computer system called Aladdin, a risk management engine that could analyze portfolios, track assets, and predict financial danger better than any tool on Wall Street. At first, BlackRock managed money only for big institutions. But everything changed in 2009 when it bought Barclays Global Investors for $13.5 billion. This deal gave BlackRock iShares, the world's biggest ETF platform, and opened the gates to millions of everyday investors. Overnight, BlackRock transformed from a quiet institutional advisor into the most influential investment powerhouse in the world. And the combination of iShares ETFs and the Aladdin system became the foundation of BlackRock's modern empire. To understand BlackRock's power, you have to compare it to the biggest monopolies in history. Start with Standard Oil, the legendary empire built by John D. Rockefeller. At its peak, Standard Oil controlled about 90% of oil refining in America. It owned the pipelines, the refineries, the distribution networks, everything. But here's the key difference. Standard Oil controlled one industry. BlackRock controls a slice of every industry on Earth. Rockefeller could only set the price of kerosene. BlackRock influences the strategies of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Exxon, J.P. Morgan, Pfizer, and hundreds more, all at the same time. Next, look at J.P. Morgan's trust empire in the early 1900s. Morgan controlled huge corporations by placing his men on their boards. His power was direct, visible, and eventually broken up by antitrust laws. BlackRock learned from this. Larry Fink never sits on boards. He doesn't need to. BlackRock controls companies indirectly by voting the shares of millions of investors who don't know their votes are being used. The power is the same, but the legal structure is bulletproof. Then consider IG Farben, a massive German chemical cartel so powerful it influenced national policy. It shows that monopolies can become political machines. BlackRock operates globally, legally, and invisibly. It doesn't manufacture oil, chemicals, or steel. It owns the companies that do. That makes it harder to regulate and almost impossible to challenge. These comparisons reveal one truth. Every monopoly in history controlled one market. BlackRock controls all markets at once. That's why its power isn't just big, it's systemic. When BlackRock acquired iShares, something huge happened. Something most people still don't understand. ETFs and index funds became the bridge that connected millions of ordinary people directly to BlackRock's power. Here's how. When you buy an ETF like the S&P 500 index fund, you technically own tiny pieces of 500 companies, but you don't vote those shares. BlackRock does. That means every time someone invests in an ETF for retirement, college, savings, or passive investing, BlackRock silently gains more voting power across corporate America. Their most famous product, the iShares S&P 500 ETF, IVV, has more than $400 billion in it alone. That's millions of shareholder votes controlled entirely by BlackRock. And that's just one fund. BlackRock runs over 1,100 different investment products. So when people invest passively, BlackRock accumulates active control. It becomes the single dominant voice in thousands of companies, from tech giants and airlines to energy corporations and pharma companies. Regular investors don't even realize that their shares are being used to reshape corporate policies, board decisions, executive pay, and entire industry strategies. Without even trying, BlackRock turned passive investing into a power engine, giving Larry Fink influence over the entire global economy, simply because regular people just want their investments to grow quietly. BlackRock controls the modern financial world through 5 interconnected mechanisms. First, it owns small but powerful stakes, usually 6 to 8%, in almost every major company across tech, banking, energy, pharmaceuticals, retail, airlines, and more, creating a silent ownership web that weakens competition and raises prices. Second, BlackRock votes the shares of millions of investors who don't vote for themselves, giving it enormous influence over corporate boards, CEO choices, mergers, and company policies across the entire economy. Third, its secretive Aladdin system guides and analyzes decisions for over $21 trillion in assets, meaning a single algorithm quietly influences global buying and selling decisions, creating massive systemic risk if it ever fails. Fourth, BlackRock is deeply tied to governments through contracts and a revolving door of executives who move between BlackRock and positions in the White House, Treasury, and Federal Reserve, ensuring policies that benefit BlackRock. And finally, BlackRock has unmatched information advantages. It sees market flows, risk exposures, and policy shifts before almost anyone else, allowing it to act faster and profit more than the rest of the global financial system. Together, these five mechanisms create a form of economic power no monopoly in history ever achieved: legal, invisible, and almost impossible to challenge. Now you understand the truth. The world's biggest companies might have different logos, different CEOs, and different products, but behind the curtain, the same three giants hold the keys to everything. And BlackRock sits at the top of that pyramid. Not because it makes oil or builds cars or runs factories, but because it controls ownership, votes, data, and risk across the entire global economy. This isn't the capitalism our grandparents grew up with. This is a new system where power is invisible, centralized, and quietly shaping the future without any public debate. And most people still have no idea it's happening. Before we end, here's something important. This topic is too big for one video. There are still deeper layers: how passive investing is killing innovation, how corporate boards take instructions from asset managers, and what a financial crash would look like when one computer system helps guide $21 trillion in assets. And if you want me to continue this series, here's what you need to do. Subscribe so you don't miss the next part. Like the video because it tells YouTube this is important content. Comment below what topic you want explained next: BlackRock versus Vanguard, Aladdin system breakdown, or the future of passive investing. Your support makes it possible for me to bring you the truth in simple, powerful language, without filters, without noise. Thanks for watching. More eye-opening videos are coming. Stay curious, stay aware, and see you in the next one.